Hi, my name is Paul Mpagi Sepuya. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I have been working on this series of photography for the past 2 years. So when I first started taking the portraits, I was working on a project called Beloved Object and an Amorous Subject. Me being an amorous subject, the array of people being the beloved object. The title, Beloved Object and Amorous Subject, comes from A Lover's Discourse by Roland Barthes, and it's related to the idea of how does one quantify why someone is attracted to someone else. Well, I think with all of the stuff with previous work that I've been doing, which no one's going to see, or you can't see if you go to my website and look at way back in other places, there's always people in the work, and it was very much trying to not be portraits, I guess, sort of resisting the idea of portraits. There was a subject, but the subject was always trying to illustrate something else. So for a while I stopped taking pictures and just did other stuff, and then when I came back to that, I decided I had to actually figure out what I was doing and why people had been the center of what I'd been doing with the camera. And so I started working with portraits, but I was photographing strangers, sometimes models and things, and occasionally friends, but I think photographing models at first was sort of like a safer space where you don't have to actually be involved with the person. You can just like study making a picture. But when I compare them to the portraits that I was making of friends, the ones of friends always stood out, and everything else mostly got cast to the side, except on the few cases where people who had been models or strangers became friends. All of the portraits in the gallery work that I sent you guys are ones that I've done since last summer of 2005. In these pictures, there are close friends, there are some good acquaintances, there's a couple people that I've had various confusing relationships with, but I think the common thing with all of them is that the portraits are taken at a particular time when the dynamics of a relationship aren't really established. A good portrait lets you, I don't know, invent almost whatever you want around that person. They're not environmental portraits specifically for that reason, because I think that would give too much to like establish a person at a place, like ground them in, for example, if I was photographing people in their spaces, it tells you too much of like, oh, so-and-so lives here and does this, and it's important that I bring people to my space. They're all very innocent. Like there is a level of distance, sort of like where you can look, but you can't touch, which up until, I would say, up until the very most recent pictures has always been there. You can look, but you can't touch. The art doesn't exist outside of the world. It will reference things, like the portraits of the men will reference something that is going on at a particular place in time within this group of people. I think the content of the work will follow the trajectory of my life insofar as what is my interest at this particular moment. At a certain point, it might be I need to figure out what my relationship is to this group of friends. What is my relationship to these strangers? What is the relationship between my I and my feelings and all of this other stuff? Overall, the work is about the relationship between me, the people out there, the like insecurities, failings, and confusion that goes on in between it, and how the camera sort of mediates it all and sort of allows me to investigate and hopefully resolve these relationships. And then what comes out of it is a portrait. I won't. I do not watch things where I'm talking. I did an interview for some Canadian documentary, and I have not watched. I will not watch it. I'm serious. I won't watch it. I have the tape. It's sitting there. I'm not gonna watch it. I won't watch this.
Good, because we're gonna put this exchange in at the end.
Okay.